Fear, a talk with Unmani.
So often we come to this spiritual path because we're trying to avoid suffering of some kind. It can be pain, but it also can be fear, or both even. And usually we are trying to escape it. We're trying to go beyond it to some special spiritual state where we don't have to feel it so much. Or we're trying to heal it. We're trying to fix it. We're trying to get to the root of it so that we can make it go away. But fear is a very natural human response, a survival response. Every animal experiences fear in some way. Every creature that is alive experiences fear. And as humans, we have the extra ability to use our minds to imagine something fearful, something frightening or threatening, or to remember also, to remember and then add some imagination. And so we can become in a fearful state even when we are physically not actually in a life-threatening situation. Or we can experience fear in all kinds of situations. This, of course, fear is very uncomfortable. And so it's also natural that we try to escape it and go beyond it, fix it, get rid of it. But the path to waking up to our true nature includes everything without exception. So it includes fear. So it's not about going beyond it or trying to get rid of it. It's about meeting it for what it is, waking up to it, with it, not away from it or not from it, not pushing it away, seeing the reality of it, seeing and feeling the reality that it is a sensation, often a very intense one, and that it is also about meeting the reality of the thought story, understanding that perhaps we have been through a fearful situation in the past, and the mind very cleverly, in order to survive future similar situations, creates a fear response again to protect us. So we can see how these mechanisms work. We can meet them for what they are. We can meet them with compassion when we understand and when we feel, and we're not running away from them. When we invite them, these experiences of fear, to just be here as they are, we also see that they are not as bad as we might have imagined. Because often it's the fear of fear that is the worst. And we are afraid that a certain situation is going to provoke so much fear that we try to avoid it or fix it. Whereas actually in meeting the simple sensation of fear, I say simple because it is simple. It's not necessarily comfortable, but it is simple because it is just a sensation here to be felt. And it can feel so intense when we just sit with it and we meet it. It can feel almost like we're going to die. But the reality of that is that usually we don't die. and that it is simply a sensation to feel. Yeah, so it's what I'm saying actually is about embracing the fear, making it a friend rather than an enemy, making it something that is familiar, getting to know it rather than pushing it away or making it a problem. Rather than adding extra drama around it, extra fear around the fear, just simply meeting it, seeing it as an opportunity to meet myself, as an opportunity to face what might feel like death. Because that's what awakening is all about, actually. It is about dying continually, dying to who I thought I was, dying to what I thought I knew, to what I thought I had, to the security that I thought was here and safe. And it's an endless, a continuous dying. So in moments where fear arises, we can meet it with wonder, with curiosity, staying open to it, even if there is a closing that might happen in the body, in the system, in the energy. So there might be a contraction felt physically, but the openness that I'm talking about is much bigger than that. It is that you are, right? That is aware of it all. That stays open, even if there is a contraction in the body. And so we identify more with that openness than the contraction. So we feel the contraction. Nothing is denied or dismissed or avoided. We feel it absolutely, and it can feel intense. But at the same time, we stay open to it, knowing that my true nature never closes. The contraction can feel like a kind of dying or risking death, standing on the edge of between life and death. But that openness that we are simply is aware and always open, always untouched. And as we identify with that, it's not that we avoid the sensation and the intensity of fear. We still feel it, but at the same time, we know that I'm not the one who's going to die. Yeah, I'm not the one at risk here. So it's not that it will save you from feeling fear, but at the same time, you see it for what it really is. It's without the drama. It's just, okay, this is what is here. The human is experiencing fear. Okay, this is human. This is natural. And we can have maybe a reason why or a memory or a story about it, but all of that we take lightly because we can see, okay, this is just a human response. And that's the compassion, that we meet it just the way it is. And we don't expect this human to be otherwise. It's very natural for her to feel afraid sometimes. And sometimes there can be little moments, very subtle moments of fear. Just during the day, some little trigger gets touched, and okay, a whoosh of that sensation. And other times it's very strong, and there can be a full system contraction. And then maybe something in between as well. And whatever it is, however it's experienced for you, this is how it is. There's no right or wrong in it. And none of it means that you need to now get busy trying to fix yourself. when we meet it with curiosity and compassion, then it's welcome to be here. We know that it doesn't mean anything about who I am. So even if there is a contraction, it doesn't mean that I'm contracting. Who I am is so much wider than any temporary contraction or any experience of fear. So fear can become our friend, actually, because it becomes like an invitation to awaken every time. It's not a block. It's not a barrier. It doesn't have to mean that if you feel fear, that then you don't go in that direction. It can, in fact, mean the opposite, even. Often we feel fear because we know that this direction or this, wherever we're exploring in ourselves, is the truth. It is an opportunity for awakening. And that can often provoke some fear because we know that we're going to lose something or some kind of belief, at least, that we're holding on to that seem to be protecting us. So there's a natural response to have the experience of fear. So it's not something to be shied away from. It's an invitation to meet it. And I'm not suggesting you now do things to provoke more fear. You don't have to start jumping out of airplanes, bungee jumping, or anything like that, unless you want to. But, just daily life is enough, right? And as we stay curious about fear or about sensation or experience in general, we can start to notice more and more subtle places where the human starts to kind of have these little contractions during the day. And yeah, they're actually very sweet. It's just little protections that get triggered. Oh, can start to see that this human is doing its best to survive, to navigate this strange world. And we fall more and more in love with this human. So often we hear that fear is the opposite of love. But in fact, in meeting fear, we meet ourselves as love. So fear is not the opposite of love. Fear is arising in and as love itself, which is who you are.